Sure. Javonte, Mark's right here. I'll walk you through it. You're right there.
All right.
Hey, Javonte, welcome.
So,
Right, group, if you got a question for Javonte, please use the raise hand function. Our first question today will come from Jacob Turner. So, Jacob, go ahead.
What's up, Javonte? Coming off a loss at Florida State, going into a rivalry game this week, have you sensed maybe a little bit more of like a pep in y'all's step going into this game? Just because y'all have, like I said, coming off that loss, but going into a rivalry game, you guys can really bounce back with a bang this week. And if you noticed anything different in practice, maybe a little different of an energy, or is it just kind of the same as usual?
no, it's definitely a boost in energy because last week I feel like we came out a little sluggish at practice, being that we had won the previous games. Just like last season, we won the first two. We came back and lost two right after that. So that's what Coach Brown been talking about, is making sure we don't do like we did last year and drop these two games because we know how important this one is.
Thanks, Javonte. Appreciate it.
All right, next up is CL Brown.
Hi, Javonte. I was wondering, who would you say has been the biggest influence on your running style?
My favorite running back probably Todd Gurley. I like how he runs. And being that he's from North Carolina, I watched him a lot when I was in high school and growing up. So that's probably who I watch the most. And I watch Alvin Kamara a lot too. Being that Coach G coached him, he always shows us his highlight tapes and things that he did in college, what he did well and things he could improve on. So probably Alvin Kamara and Todd Gurley.
Okay. Now applying that same question, who would you say has helped you get to where you are? Like, who's been the biggest influence in actually helping you develop your skill to where you can play at Carolina?
Definitely Coach G. He taught me a lot. Coming out of high school, I didn't really know much about like passing, pass protection, things like that. Coach G and just other running backs like Mike, British, Tonio, Jordan Brown, players like that, they just brought me along.
All right. Thanks, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Ross Martin, go ahead, Ross.
Hey, Javonte, did NC State recruit you at all?
No, sir.
Okay, so what's your feeling on like you're from North Carolina. What's your feeling on the rivalry between UNC and NC State, and obviously being from the eastern part of the state?
It's a big game. It's definitely a game I always went to when I was in high school. Like, they always gave me like the recruiting tickets, and always told me like come to camps and things like that. But they never really recruited me. So and also I know how big of a game it is, just because you either, if you stay in North Carolina, either NC State or Carolina, where I'm from. So I know how big of a game it is. We just got to go out and play hard and do what we got to do and get this win.
Can you go into a little bit of how UNC ended up recruiting you and how that happened? I know it was pretty late in the recruitment process, right?
Yes, sir. Actually, it was at the state championship game my senior year. We played here, and after the game, Coach Fedora came in the locker room and was like, do you want to go on your official, like right now after the game? And I said, yes. So after the game, I went to the hotel and stayed. We played on Saturday. So when I woke up the next morning, he invited me to his office and he just offered me because I had to go to the Shrine Bowl the next day.
Had they been recruiting you a little bit throughout that year, or was it pretty sudden, the interest?
Nah, that was the first time I ever talked to Coach Fedora.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
All right, Andrew Jones. Go ahead, Andrew.
Hey, Javonte, kind of piggybacking on Jacob's question, is it easier to cut the cord to Saturday's loss and what happened down in Tallahassee because you have NC State up this week?
I wouldn't say just because it's NC State, but after we never want to lose, but after we lose, you got to have like amnesia pretty much and just forget about it because you can't let Florida State or any team beat you twice. Because if you continue to think about it, they'll creep up on you and we'll lose both games and then we'll be 2-2. So 3-2. But we just got to go out and play our game and just do what we got to do and get the win.
At what point Sunday did you guys apply that amnesia? Did you stop focusing on what went wrong in Tallahassee and totally moved everything ahead to NC State?
I feel like after the film session, because every Sunday we watch the game, like correct the mistakes, then we go out and have practice. But being that we got back so late, we didn't have practice on Sunday. So I said after the film session, Coach G was like, "You don't want to hear us talk about Florida State again or watch the film." So like that's passes. And now we just moving on to NC State.
Cool. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, Javonte, that's all we got for you today. Thanks for your time.
Appreciate it.